Girl's got the dog in her.
Who's unstoppable, Kelley? Which one is unstoppable? Throw the cards for me. Hey.
Lisa's favorite thing. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fast Friends. I'm Kelley O'Hara.
And I am Lisa Leslie, and we are talking all things women's sports. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we are. We're going to be covering the WNBA playoffs today, which are heating up in the semis. We got NWSL playoff race to cover and a couple other things along the way. But Lisa, how was your weekend?
It was good. First off, I hate that I can't be there in the studio with you.
I know.
Hurricane was Helen, whatever her name is. She was
whoever that girl was.
We are not feeling her. She was coming through ripping up stuff, so sister had to stay home. But I'm glad I get to connect with you. I got a chance to play tennis before the weather got all bad, so I got my workout in.
Okay, how are we feeling ahead of your tennis season kicking off?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Good. Like, yes, I've improved. I've taken.
How's the serve?
The serve is nice. I got a slice out wide serve, and I'm a lefty.
Okay.
Yep, and I sometimes serve in volley because I play doubles.
I have a question though. What's the weakest part of your tennis game?
I would say backhand lob.
Ooh, a backhand lob.
No, not my backhand. My backhand is my strongest, but my lob. Like when they lob it and you got to like lob it back from your backhand, it's the hardest shot on the court. Even for pros, it's the hardest shot.
Interesting. All right. Good to know when I play you.
It's one. I'm bringing my racket.
I'm just going to be lobbing balls in the air. That's the only way that I have a chance of beating you.
All right. Folks, we're going to get some video of this little tennis.
Yeah, we are.
Anyway,
I would probably be very immobile, but that's okay.
All right, listen. Talk about soccer, because this is crazy.
I know.
Teams that lost without their best players, the teams that won without their best players, that's just something, Kelley.
I know. I sat and looked at the table, and all of the people in the middle of the field, in the middle of the table right now, who their last 4 games are against. And I think that I know who will be in playoffs. I think I have the whole picture figured out. But we'll get to that later. But first, we got to talk about WNBA playoffs. Listen, Liberty last night got it done on home court against the Aces. They looked so good right from the jump, right from the tip off. They looked fast, strong. They were just clicking on it. Everything, they looked absolutely locked in. So I want to know your thoughts on this game because I was stoked, obviously.
First of all, everything is Gucci because we have on their colors. Which is New York Liberty colors.
We do actually. Seafoam green.
Let me just say this. It was so amazing to see the crowd supporting the New York Liberty the way they did. Like, I felt like I was having I'm so proud moment because I played in the Garden and they've had, the New York fans, just like the LA fans, are very competent basketball fans. Like, they understand what is going on at all times, which you can appreciate, which also tells you that when they appreciate you, you know you're doing the right things. In New York, the Liberty, they really came together and they're clicking on all cylinders at the right time. Plus, they're on this whole revenge thing, which is true for any of us who've lost a championship. 1, you never forget it. 2, you're lucky if you get the opportunity to get back to defend it or at least fight for it again. And that's where they are. The scary part is they gave a lot. And listen, the Aces did not play their best and they were in a dogfight.
A dogfight?
It was a dogfight. It may not look like it when you say they're up by 18 and then they're back within 8. That's always telling you, yes, you are in a dogfight because the Aces are never out of it. And they're the defending champions.
That's fair.
You get up by 8. If they would have beat them by 30 and you blew them out, now you're like, that's a different game. They didn't blow them out. They closed the lead. Like, I don't have the stats in front of me, but like 3 or 4 times it was like down by 18, back within 8. Kelsey Plum was doing her thing, right?
You're right. That's fair. No, Aces, they were never going to give up until the game was over. They kept trying to come back. Like you said, there were a couple moments where Aces did close that gap. But I think from the very start, Liberty was in the lead the entire game.
Yes.
Aces never led.
Brianna Stewart, the MVP Brianna Stewart showed up.
100%.
Which was amazing. She was leading her team, and I loved how aggressive she was, and that just the idea of her as a leader and communicating, like, I have not slept well. I've been looking forward to this. Like, we're going to take, she's the leader, and she's telling you and the crowd and her teammates, like, no, we were sick about this, and here's our opportunity to make that wrong right. So I love that. I love how Sabrina UNESCO is also like understanding. She's feeling the love from the crowd. She's feeding off of it. But
Hitting those logo threes.
Oof. Logo three. This is the thing that's different.
So good.
In the past, when the New York Liberty have played in playoff championship situations, because I was on one of those teams that put them out, they played off of a lot of emotion, but the emotion always die out to me. Now they play with a lot of emotion, but they didn't let the emotion become a distraction to their focus and to their will to win. And I like that. They're going to have to maintain it because it's only one game. And you can get like, oh, we finally did it. And then Aces are like, you got one. But don't forget, all they have to do is win one in New York. So game 2 is actually even more important because it's going to be tough to win in Las Vegas.
All right, so you think that game 2, crucial. If Liberty don't win, Aces will close it out in the next 3.
It's going to be hard to get the game back to New York. That's all. I'm not saying they can't win it and how it's going to look. First of all, Chelsea Gray, I don't know if she finished with 1 assist. The last time I heard it was none. But if she had 1, she's the leader. And she's not going to not have the assists that she usually averages. I just don't see her playing poorly through this whole season, through this whole series, I should say. Yeah. I think she's going to play better. Asia, this is the beautiful part about Asia. Asia had 21 points, 5 assists. Where's her stat line? 6 rebounds. And we're like, oh, Asia didn't play well. Bro, that's a great stat line for most players. And you're so used to her carrying the team that by her having like a normal stat line of 21 points and 5 rebounds, 5 assists, which goes to show you that they weren't going to let Asia beat them. And that is the key to this whole series. If you want to beat the Aces, you better find somebody else to win the game for the Aces. But you can't let it be Asia because she can do it. And that's what I thought New York did a great job of finding ways and forcing them to make someone else take those shots.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense. I had a friend who went to Liberty Aces last year in the finals, but at Aces. She was coming home from LA. She stopped in Vegas to watch a game. And she said that the crowd there, and you were just talking about New York crowd, which I think Liberty games are one of the most fun sporting events you can go to. Regular season or playoff, doesn't matter. It's a great atmosphere. But yes. She was saying at Aces court was electric. She was like, the crowd was deafening there. Yes. So I do think you're right in saying that Liberty have to win on Tuesday and go to Vegas and be okay, maybe dropping 1, maybe winning on their home court, but knowing that if they win the first 2 at home, they can absolutely come back to New York and close it out here, I think.
But here's something we should not forget. Both those teams won on each other's courts last year. Yeah. So I think that's another thing that you have in your head where I'm sure that the Aces are like, we can get 1 here. They have to feel confident about that today. Like, we can get a game here because we've won here before. We beat them in the championship here on this court. The Liberty have to have this urgency of like, we cannot lose at home. That's always number 1. You cannot lose at home. And then you got to go to Vegas feeling like we've won here before and we can do it again. So 100%. Both teams are going to feel some kind of way and some sort of, I think, confidence in their ability to win an away game.
I mean, I just love the 5-game series because it's a shootout, right? Like you got to bring it you can't have one good game. It's the most consistent, the best all around team is going to win out because you have the opportunity of best of 3 or best of 5, you got to win 3. So it can't be just like, oh, you had a great night. No, you got to do it every single time. or you're not going to make it. And I love what Sabrina said about last year. She said it was a long, dark couple weeks after they lost in the finals last year. So what I saw last night yesterday from the Liberty, and the way that they came, just the way that they started the game, even the first 3 or 4 minutes, I was like, oh, they remember deeply how last year felt. They never forgot that. And I feel like as a player, that was always me. It was like, you can listen, you might take one from me, whatever, but that will never happen again.
For sure. And I mean, they can also play better. Jonquil Jones can play better than what she played. So I do think that here's our scenario. If the Liberty are 2-0, then Vegas has their back to the wall.
100%.
That's still a lot of pressure. That's still a lot of pressure.
I know. But listen, like I said in the last podcast, our last episode, heart and soul, baby, heart and soul from the Liberty. I believe they're winning. All right, the next game or Sun versus Lynx.
Yes.
Can I get Sun beat the Lynx 70. 70. Which, I mean, I feel like a lot of people thought Lynx were going to take the first one. You don't think so?
I don't know what people thought, but I'm saying
you don't know what everybody thought.
I just know what I think.
Okay, I guess I thought Lynx had the first one for sure.
There is a player, Marina Mabrey, who is new to the Suns. They're a different team. The whole landscape, how she got out of Chicago, I will never know mid-season. But that is a game changer. And the Suns went from always being, whatever you say, the runner-up, but never the queen, or whatever the little analogy is.
Yeah. The bridesmaid, never the bride.
That part. They have a chance. And she's
because of her.
Factor. Because of her. She changes the whole game.
Okay, I want to know tell me what you think she changed about the game. But before that, so I went to Liberty Chicago earlier this year when Mabrey was still on Chicago. And she was chirping at the ref. She was chirping at other players. Like this, and her being on Chicago or being on whatever team the Liberty's playing, I'm like, I don't like her because you're the opponent. Yeah. But and when I heard about this trade, I was like, I remember her from Chicago, and now she's on Sun, and she is turning up in these playoffs, and girl's got the dog in her. She's like, she's like, this is the moment, and I'm about to do my thing, and it's been fun to watch. Even though when I watched her when she was against Liberty, I was like,
Yeah. No, you don't like her. You don't like her because she's a baller. She's a baller.
Exactly, yeah.
And her ability to shoot the ball, clearly, her range. People sometimes think like Caitlin Clark is like, she does shoot the furthest out. She's been amazing. But we've had some other players that shoot a far
100%.
distance, very consistently. Sabrina. And Marina is one of them.
Yeah.
Sabrina is another one. But what she adds to the Suns is like Alyssa Thomas, tough nose, everybody knows, physical, can get to the basket. She has her shot. Her range is a little bit limited, about 15 foot. Sometimes she'll hit a 17-footer and surprise you, but you have her. We know DeWanna Bonner can do it all. Get to the basket, cut back door, knock down the long range three also. But just, these players, Dejanay Harrington has had an amazing season. She's gotten feistier. She starts with her defense. Excellent. She's going to get steals for you. There's a lot of people there. Brianna, they have some big girls. They had everything but was missing something. And her name is Marina. With her being there, I was not surprised. However, the Lynx, well coached, excellent well-oiled machine. And you got to say, Nafisa Collier has had her season has been beyond amazing, right? If Asia's not as excellent as she is, she's the MVP. She didn't win that. And they did everything they could to really disrupt her. And again, she had 19 points, which is not a bad stat line. Yeah. It's not 40, right? So you look at that and you go, oh, wow, she didn't have a great game. Everybody else has to step up, and it's going to be important for them. Their defense was not as quite in sync as we've seen before for Minnesota. And I just thought overall, this is going to be a fight. But for them to come in, for the Sun to go into Minnesota and win game one.
Big time.
Huge.
Statement game, for sure. I guess my question for you is, Marina Mabrey, does she add to the Sun? I think she adds this feistiness, but is her long range shooting was that the missing element that the Sun needed?
Absolutely, because they're a feisty team. They're a physical team. They don't lack that. They don't lack fight, heart, dog. They got all of those.
They got all
check
that.
all the boxes.
But they just needed that one piece of long range shooting to open up the court, or what? Like, what is it giving them now?
Well, it's giving them, you can't really double team off of her. So, because she's an actual weapon, she can hit big shots as she does, whether the clock's running down or the game's at the end. Every team needs a Marina, first off. Every team needs a player who can hit the three ball when you need one, but also hit it under pressure. She can do both of those. But she also is a very good defender. She's spicy as hell.
Yeah.
She'll fight you on offense. She'll fight you on defense. So you can appreciate the fact that her position is like sealed because she's really is an all-star, you know? And they just got a third, fourth piece to the puzzle. So when time's running down, sometimes the consistency of where their baskets, they being the Suns, where their baskets where it was gonna come from, I think in crunch time at the end was always a little bit of a toss-up to me. Just my opinion watching, where I felt like, and I don't know if that was coaching or just really not sure, but now you can drive. DeWanna Bonner can get to the basket. She can cut back door. Alyssa Thomas, great passer. But if you don't hit her, you kick it out to Marina and a bucket's happening. So
right.
I love the way their team is structured right now. She's really a missing piece for any team.
I know I was surprised on the trade, but yeah, it's definitely paying off for the Sun and for Marina. So we'll see if she can keep it going, keep it hot. WNBA, done and dusted.
Done and dusted. We are out. Throw the cards for me. Hey.
Lisa's favorite thing.
You know we love talking stats here at Fast Friends. Here's one that's super simple to remember. Discover automatically doubles the cash back you've earned on your credit card at the end of your first year with Cashback Match. That means with Discover, you could turn $150 cash back to $300. That's right, you could put it towards some memorabilia you've had your eye on or treat yourself to a premium sports network. You earn and Discover doubles. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
All right, we're on to NWSL. Let's go. What you got for me? What are your questions?
Okay, so the last time we spoke about NWSL, Trinity was out. You told me that it's a possibility for the Los Angeles Angels or Angel City.
Angel City,
but they're in LA. I
that. They are. You can call them the Los Angeles Angels.
No, Angel City, like this was their moment to really, do something here. And they lost. Tell me about the players that were out.
Bethune, Kruger, and Rodman all play for Spirit.
Washington Spirit. Okay.
Yes. And they went out to LA, and LA had an opportunity of a lifetime to pick off 3 points from Spirit to put themselves in a good spot or keep themselves in the conversation or the picture for the playoffs. And they didn't do it. They lost 2-1. And now they're sitting at 20 points. I did a little research this morning on this. They're at 20. They would have been at 23 if they would have pulled off this win, and that would have kept them in playoff picture.
Playoff contention.
But at this point,
they're out.
They're not out, but they are in a very, very uphill battle to try to make these playoffs because they've got 4 games left, and the bottom. To get into right now, playoffs is sitting at 28 points. That's Bay. They're sitting at 28. So, LA's got to win 2. No, they got to win 3 games. They can tie or lose the last one or one of them. And they got to play Seattle, North Carolina, Utah, and Portland. Not impossible, but in my opinion, LA, after this weekend, has sealed their fate. They will not be making playoffs.
Wow. Okay. So what does that say about the strength of Spirit, Gotham?
I mean,
in case you...
when it comes to Spirit, the fact that Spirit was able to go to LA and still get 3 points on the road with essentially 3 starters out, great for them. Really good. I think that's a good confidence builder as a team for them. I think that they have a deep team anyway. But again, these 3 players have been instrumental in their success this year, in my opinion. Yeah. Bethune is, I think, going to win Rookie of the Year, even though she's been out since, I think, a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really?
yeah, after Olympics, she I think did her knee, not ACL, but like meniscus situation, something like that. So, but she's had a fantastic rookie year, was really, really integral to the Spirits midfield, but they're able to get the job done. I think that's a testament to the team that they are, the players that they have, the coach that they have brought in this year. So I think it was a good win for Spirit. They are sitting in second right now, at 47 points. Gotham, we went to Kansas City and we tied. So we're at 44. Kansas City is at 43. Again, we're all in the playoffs. We've clinched. Those 4 teams have clinched. And what's going to be interesting is what everybody else does who's in the middle of the pack right now and what they're able to pull off. And like, this is down to the wire, and you go into every single game, you are hunting points at this point of the season. Like you got to do it. You can't drop points. This is crunch time for them.
So for this part of the season, everybody's trying to get into the playoffs.
Yes.
But those of the teams that are secure, what type of adjustments are you guys making now, or are they making? First of all, do you still go to the practice now, or are we like retired means you're just
No,
a fan?
I'm not going to practice, but I'll go I've been to the facility. I've sat in some meetings. I might go to a practice or two, go see how the girls are doing and on the practice field. I'll be at home games, that sort of thing. But no, I think when it comes to this part of the season, again, I kind of spoke on this last week. It's like these teams who have clinched, what are you doing to add into extra elements of your game to just kind of have a couple nuances in your systems or be ready for anything you're going to face come playoff time? Because I think that a lot of teams have a very specific system that they play offensively and defensively throughout the year. I don't think that a lot of teams have a lot of tools in their toolbox in terms of being able to press high, sit low, possession or transition game. Like I don't know if as a league we're there yet, or maybe even have the coaches that are able to sometimes do that, if I'm being completely honest. And I would love
Coach Kelley, I keep telling you.
You're
listen, gonna be a coach. I see it. You don't even know.
No, we need some time off. But okay, but all of that is to say, this is who I think is going to make playoffs.
Who?
I think that. So
Gotham.
Well, no, the top 4, Orlando, Washington, Gotham, KC, they're in.
Okay.
You got North Carolina, they're making it. Chicago is at 29, Portland's at 28, Bay's at 28, and then you have Louisville at 25. Chicago, Bay, and Louisville, I think, have the hardest last 4 games out of that group. Oh. Portland, though, has been on a slide. And they can't stop the bleeding.
Still on the slide. You said that like last 2 weeks now.
Yes, they haven't. I don't think they've won in many, many weeks, which is, they just, at this point, they need to get a win to kind of almost like break the whatever
Sophia Smith's team?
curse that's going on. It is, yes.
They're just tired. They're tired.
Yeah, something like that. But I think that of the teams that are fighting for spots, I think Chicago's going to make it. I think Portland's going to make it just because Portland has the ability to, they just have the history and they have players who understand how to do it. And when they need to show up, they can show up. Obviously, that hasn't been happening lately. And they're probably like, what the hell, guys? We got to get this together. But yeah. I think they'll be fine. Between Bay and Louisville, I think Louisville's going to come through. And I think that they are potentially going to sneak into the playoffs because Bay has to play Gotham, Kansas City, North Carolina, and Houston. They'll beat Houston, but of those other 3, I don't know. I don't know if they'll get points off of any of those 3 teams. But then Louisville has to play Kansas City, Washington, Portland, San Diego. I think Louisville can get points off of San Diego and maybe split points with Portland, but Kansas City and Washington's going to be tough. So it's, again, I think I know. I think it's going to be Louisville over Bay, and I don't think San Diego's going to make it. I don't think LA is going to make it, but that's what makes it fun and interesting.
That's why it's called a game.
You got to tune in, and you got to keep up because a lot's happening over the next couple weeks. It'll be fun.
Okay, but before we get done, I need to know about the MVP race because Chewinga.
Oh yes, yeah.
Scored 17 goals.
I know.
Is the MVP race over or what?
So let's see, where's she sitting right behind Barbara Banda? All right, so she's 4 goals ahead of
Because
Banda.
Barbara plays for Orlando, right?
Barbara plays for Orlando, and Orlando is undefeated, and they're going to win the Shield more than likely. And I guess because I became a defender after college, and the defenders rarely win awards, so it's like not really even in my wheelhouse of caring or like talking about. No, I'm not a hater, but I do think I'm like, is scoring goals enough? Like, is that
whoever can do it the most could be the MVP as long as their record is good, like first, second, or third. You don't have to be first place to be.
What
MVP.
about fourth? Because right now they're in fourth.
Fourth is a little bit like it's definitely
exactly.
not unanimous.
So it's like, do you want to? I mean, yes. Do I think Chewinga's gonna win MVP? Yes, because I think that in soccer we value goal scorers, and those are typically that's who turns up to be MVP. And
scoring goals is kind of a thing.
Listen, you don't have to score to win a championship unless it comes down to PKs, but you can't get scored on. Defense wins championships.
That's not her position, though. Chewinga doesn't play defense.
I know. I'm just saying, I can make a case for Barbara. I can make a case for Chewinga. So it's like...
Okay. I got one more question for you then.
What?
If Chewinga has 17 goals, how many goals does Barbara have?
Barbara Banda has 13. So she's 4 goals off. And there's still 4 games left in the season. So it's like, this is also an exciting thing to watch. Who knows? It's going to come down to the wire.
Who's unstoppable, Kelley? Which one is unstoppable?
They are very similar in the profile of player that they are, yeah.
Okay.
Their teams, like, for instance, Kansas City, they go long for a knockdown to play Chewinga through. Like, that's what they look for when they're playing. So, and same with Orlando. Like, they're looking for the transition football. And I think I would love to go back and count up how many of their goals have come literally where they're 1v1 with the keeper because these 2 girls have blown past everybody else and they're just going 1v1. Like, it's almost like club soccer or things that I saw in college soccer. Like, this never really happened that much. Like, it hasn't happened as much as it has this year because these 2 players came to the league and they've turned into these 1v1 unstoppable goal scorers, which is really, it's been fun to watch. But yeah, when you're playing against them, it's like, you got to figure out how to never let them be with the ball at their foot, running at you with a lot of space in behind, basically. And teams haven't been able to do it. I think teams should play a low block on Orlando and Kansas City. I don't know why no one is doing that yet. Like, I would pick up at the halfway line against Kansas City and Orlando.
Coach Kelley.
It's like, why wouldn't you? Because let's see if Orlando can play against low block. Let's see if Kansas City has the ability to play football, break down a low block, and score goals. I don't know if they do, honestly.
Right. I like the way you think, Coach.
But
I like it. Okay.
Nobody's asking me.
They're going to. The phone will be ringing. Okay. So another player, Christine Sinclair, announced her retirement after this season.
Yeah.
I mean, can you talk about her and just like what she's brought to the game and all of these accolades she's accomplished?
Listen, Sinky's a legend of the game. Like, this list is crazy. FIFA all-time international goal scorer, 190 goals, playing for Canada, women's football. Like, Canada has been good, but like, that is saying something, right? That right there is just a insane stat line. 2-time WPS champion, which I was on one of her teams for that, Gold Pride, back 2010, 2011. 2021 Olympic gold medalist, 2-time Olympic bronze medalist, 3-time NWSL champion, 2-time NWSL Shield, 2021 International Champions Cup, 2010 CONCACAF Women's Championship. Like,
she's a baller.
And that's just international. That's international professional. College was ridiculous. Sink owned college. Like, she was just so good at Portland. So it's, she has been this like shining star for Canada and honestly for women's football. She's a player that like could literally be walk around the field half the game and then catches a goal, scores a goal on you, and like you're like, how did I just let that happen? Basically, like she even to this day, that's what I'm saying. Like she just has a nose for the goal. She has this uncanny ability to score goals like I've really never seen before, and she's funny too. She's a funny girl. So the game's gonna miss her. But like, I mean, she has stamped her name on football forever, and she's had a good run. So she can be proud of how she's retiring.
That's a wrap on the show.
I'm done. We're done. That's a wrap.